3 million people have received a government emergency alert on their mobile, advising them to stay indoors as Storm Darragh brings winds of up to 90 miles an hour. Here's what the alert sounds like. Quite enough of that. I know it's piercing. The Met Office has issued its highest level red warning, which indicates potentially life-threatening weather is expected. There's already been flooding in several parts of the UK. Let's get an update now from meteorologist John Hammond from Weather Trending. Morning, John.
Hi, Chloe.
First of all, I mean, that alarm, obviously, it has to be piercing because that's the point of an alarm. But it's sent to many people. Give us a sense, if people haven't seen these before, what did people see on their phones?
Well, because it's been issued for parts of Wales as well as Western England, actually, it's in Welsh. If you live in Wales, you're getting that message in Welsh. What it's saying is very explicitly, no nonsense, this storm will be life-threatening. You should stay indoors and you should prepare, for example, for power outages. So you should have a torch handy. You should have candles, which may be required for several hours, because this storm is not just going to hang around and move away very, very quickly. It could well last much of the day, which is why the red warning extends well on into the day. So it is a new innovation, and it's a testament, Chloe, to how good the computer models are now. You know, the good news in some senses is that the forecast is going according to plan. The bad news is forecast is going according to plan. So the areas which have been warned about over the last 24 hours are exactly the areas which are now being hit by the ferocity of Storm Darragh. So, as predicted by the red warning, we're seeing gusts of over 90 miles an hour recorded just in the last couple of hours, battering the west coast of Wales. West coast of Wales is no stranger to winds of those sorts of strength, but those winds are funneling up the Bristol Channel. So areas such as Cardiff and Bristol, which don't normally see gusts of 70, 80, possibly 90 miles an hour, are getting battered by winds of that strength right now. And hence the need to issue these warnings to your phone, because some places aren't used to winds of that sort of strength, perhaps won't be prepared. And the things which are going to endanger life are people going out and about with flying debris, trees falling over, perhaps slates falling off houses, that sort of impact, power outages. So really it's an endeavour to get people out of harm's way, to stay at home and to look after loved ones. So it's a very effective new innovation, collaboration between the Met Office and the government, as you say, and it's the first one that's been rolled out with these messages, text messages coming to your phone with that piercing alarm, as you say, not just in English, but in Welsh in this case as well.
So winds clearly are an issue. Are we expecting serious flooding as well?
Yeah, that's the double whammy, if you like, of this storm. It's not just the wind, it's absolutely tipping down now. Just where we've got the strongest winds, we've also got a deluge. And that includes areas which were affected so badly by Storm Bert, notably southern parts of Wales. So here there's an amber warning for rain, actually. We'll have to keep a very, very close eye on the catchments across this part of the country over the next few hours, because the catchments are utterly saturated, and all that rain is going to funnel down through the valleys yet again. Touch wood, the impact from flooding won't be as bad as it was with Bert, but I think in some places it will be touch and go. So that combination of fierce winds and heavy rain affecting those western areas right now. By contrast, Chloe, across parts of northern England right now, it's flat calm. Don't be fooled. That is the eye of the storm, and often, as you may know, in the eye of the storm, it goes weirdly quiet, but that storm is going to move its way further eastwards, and in the wake of that, gale force northerly winds are going to sweep in behind the storm centre. So for those areas which are currently quiet and calm, and you're wondering what all the fuss is about, those winds will pick up dramatically over the next several hours, and so by this afternoon just about the whole of the country will be affected by very strong disruptive winds, damaging winds in some cases. And it's not really, Chloe, until we get into tomorrow, when that storm begins to ease away, that those winds will moderate slowly from the west. So there is hope on the horizon, but this isn't one of those storms which is just going to quickly go away. It'll only very, very slowly ease away through this weekend. So some places have got a lot more hours of disruptive and potentially damaging winds to come before things do improve later on this weekend.
John, thank you for that update. That is the meteorologist John Hammond from Weather Trending. Wherever you are, if you're being impacted this morning, do get in touch with us.
A gust of wind that reached 92 miles an hour, that's 148 kilometres an hour, was recorded in northwest Wales. And Wales is where we go to now to speak to Liz Perkins, a journalist there who's at home in Llanelli, close to the Welsh coast. Liz, what are things like where you are?
Well, I got to say, I mean, the wind has been absolutely howling overnight and continues to do so. It's been a really rough night here, as you can imagine, really noisy with this weather conditions. A lot of people are very scared as to the impact of these winds. I mean, it's very difficult to see at the moment because obviously, it's very dark here. It's obviously, we're all, waking up at this time of day and it's difficult to assess. The council has been taking lots of precautions, as you can imagine. Leisure centres and museums and all sorts of attractions like the Dylan Thomas Boathouse have been shut down for the day because clearly nobody is safe to go to the coast right now, and it's just scary times for a lot of people because clearly we haven't been in this situation before. We've never had this kind of red alert sitting across the west side of Wales.
Were you one of the people, Liz, who received the red alert, the emergency alert on your phone?
I did, yeah. It's just not really what you want to have. But it's good that they are actually warning people properly that these problems, are happening, that we do have to take care, that we shouldn't be going out of the house. I mean, clearly, you've seen both 7 bridges closed today, which it never usually happens. It's usually just one. And, obviously train services are going to be impacted. We can't have the Christmas parade here in Llanelli because obviously the conditions are so terrible. And it's really, really having a knock-on effect. So, I mean, obviously a lot of people have suffered in Wales because of Storm Darragh quite recently and because of the floods and, the scenes that we saw further up in the east side of Wales in Pontypridd. But you just don't know how bad this is going to be. I mean, obviously the Christmas attractions in Cardiff and Swansea have also closed down as well. So it's going to be a tough time for, people right across the board. And if you're a pensioner living on your own, it must be very, very trying to be sitting there and thinking what's going to happen next.
Is there a sense that the authorities are they're not in control because the weather's in control here, but is there a sense that if people need help, they can get it in some way? Do people feel reassured in terms of what people you're talking about? Because as you say, there is a lot of worry about it, not just where you are near the coast, but also inland as well.
Absolutely. I've got to say, I mean, I can only talk for my local authority in terms of the information that they have issued. They have been absolutely just really proactive straight away. They've given a list of different emergency hotlines, different websites that we can go to, checking in terms of flooding. If we've got an emergency, we can call and alert the local authority. So it's just been really, really helpful, actually, which is, as it should be. And I'm sure that the rest of Wales is experiencing the same as well. But, like I say, we are in the red zone. So we have to be prepared for any eventuality, really.
Travel is a big issue as well. I see that National Highways says the Prince of Wales Bridge and the Severn Bridge are to be closed. You mentioned that a little bit earlier on. And all train services west of Cardiff suspended. This is really affecting an awful lot of people who want to, get out and about, enjoy their weekend, but they can't really. Like you, Liz, I'm sure they're battening down the hatches.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really, in times like this, you have no option but just to listen and to stay at home. I mean, all of us would love to go out and enjoy the weekend and have a great time, but this is not going to happen right now. It's just unfortunate. I mean, we've been struck by yet another storm, and it's just a case of just staying safe, essentially.
And what is the sense of what might happen? I mean, this is forecast for about 24 hours or so, but is there hope that things will get easier and perhaps there may be a bit of picking up the pieces and sorting out debris and fallen roof tiles and things like that? Trees uprooted and so on, I'm sure, will happen. We're told by John Hammond anyway. But I wonder if there is hope that this will pass fairly soon, because as you correctly mentioned there, people in Wales especially battered by Brits and now Darragh.
Absolutely. These Irish storms seem to be causing so much havoc, don't they? Essentially, I mean, the warning is in place until about 11 a.m. this morning. But the thing is this, I mean, there is hope that this storm will sort of head to another part of the country. However, I mean, what we go through now is obviously something that other people are going to have to suffer and deal with as well. So, I mean, we obviously, don't want anybody to be going through what we're going through. But yeah, I think it's going to be the next 24 hours at least. I mean, as you referred to earlier, I mean, we've had wind speeds of 92 miles per hour at Capel Currig in North Wales, which is a very exposed spot. And, obviously, we just hope that this sort of weather front kind of peters out. But how long it's going to take and whether it will take just 24 hours is, we have to wait and see, really. So hopefully things will get better.
Is there much of a sense of worry, of course, about power going off and being able to keep in contact and so on? Are people making preparations for that? For example, charging up phones and so on? What have people been telling you, Liz?
Well, actually, it's interesting that you asked about this, because so far 20,000 homes are already without power in Wales. And I mean, could you imagine having the job of trying to restore power in those kind of conditions? I think it's going to be quite challenging. So I think, the National Grid can have their work cut out today. But and obviously, I'm sure that more people will be affected with that. I mean, clearly, everybody's trying to do the best that they can in the circumstances to try and keep power on their phones, like you say, because obviously in an emergency like this, that's what you need, right?
You're absolutely right, Liz. Stay safe. Thank you very much for bringing us that update of what's happening in Wales and many other parts of the country as well. Southwest of Scotland is badly affected, western, southern coastal regions of Wales, as we've been hearing from Liz there in Llanelli, and also the Bristol Channel in England as well. We'll keep you updated right throughout the day here on Times Radio.